name's Moira.
Hi Moira.
Hi. It's lovely to meet all of you, lovely people. This was an idea, a dream, a hope. And a few people thought, maybe we could. And yes, we could. And yes, we did. Thank you, Barack Obama, for giving us that phrase. Thank you, Barack. All I want to say is a couple of words about how come the journey that we've got to here in Hampshire, just the bit that I know. I'm not going to be able to remember everyone who's been involved, but let me tell you that we stand on the shoulders of giants. There are many people who have laid stepping stones that has cost them dearly in terms of humiliation and insult and injury. I'd like to name just a couple of them, if that's all right with you. The first person that comes to mind for me is a guy called Bruce Simmons. He's not around in youth work anymore, and I'm sure that he's not the first one, but when I started as a youth worker in 1994, I was still embarrassed to tell people that I was a lesbian. I was still ashamed of being a lesbian. But Bruce came to our team and he said, I want to start a youth group for young people. I was petrified. I thought, how can I talk to parents about their kids becoming gay and me helping them? That's how oppressed my internalised depression went. But that didn't worry Bruce. He went on ahead and he set up Breakout Youth in Basingstoke, and it's one of the most mature youth, gay and lesbian youth groups, LGBT youth groups that's around. The workers, yes, I'd like to say that the workers that are there at the moment are mature, but I can't. Touching on that, I'd like to. This is my more sad one. I didn't know about this until recently, but we need to mention a person called Chrissy Edkins. She was a transgender woman who was a singer and a campaigner on behalf of transgender issues across the world, and she was in Southampton, and very sadly she died in June 2013. She took her own life. So the impact of homophobia or transphobia, I don't know what you would call it, is as real today as it has ever been, even for those of us that stand up at the front. If any of you ever feel that it's that bad, give us a call. Phone one of us, phone Roy here, he'll talk to you. But don't go lightly taking any steps like that. But I'd like to hear a round of applause please for Chrissy Edkins. Next, I'd like to recognise the giants, the predecessors for me. I do belong to Hampshire County Council. Hampshire County Council own me. I'm proud to say that now. Well, I don't know that I always would have done, but I do. I think it's because Roy's here. But within the LGBT network, if I can just beg your indulgence, there are workers in Hampshire County Council that I would just like to recognise. Just a couple, it's not going to be all of you, apologies for that, but I'd like to recognise Jay Correa and Jay Green, the founding members of the LGBT network for Hampshire County Council. The person who has carried that torch for the last 4 or 5 years has done remarkable work at just keeping it going, plodding along day in, day out, has been Camilla Gibson. Where are you, Camilla? And Camilla continues to support the work of the LGBT network, and she's doing it in such a way, she's she's trying her best not to. Well, I'm just trying to take it over. Let's put it that way. Now, how did Hampshire Pride get started? A couple of us had an idea. Sarah, down there, Sarah, it's from Winchester University. Big up Sarah because she said we want to do this. But it's alright having big ideas. It's people who are prepared to start up a Facebook page, contact local people in the area, and just get those jungle drums going. And the people who really have made this pride work are these people. And I'd like you to come up here, please. Can I have Amy, Jenny, Harry, who would you like? Dominic, Carl, Jordan. Jordan, are you here? Poor Sarah, Janet. These are the change makers. I think it's fantastic that they're all under the age of 30. Except for Sarah, who's older than 30. Thank you very much. No, that's all of you. Get off. Right, we're going to have just a word from Julie Fry. Are you around at all? So come on up here. Because there's another set of giants that do need to be mentioned, and that is the Hampshire Police. Who amongst us didn't know that Hampshire Police were in the top 100? Did you come top of the top 100? No, we came second. All right, they're a bit of a failure. But that's all right. Julie, you want to say a couple of words?
Hello. Firstly, thank you so much for... Did you invite us or did we get crashed? I can't remember. Or are we only here to sort the road closures out? I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for inviting us myself with my colleagues, Marie, and where are we? Yes, we're over there. I've lost her. Yep. And very, very proud to be here. Yes, this is the first event that Hampshire have done in this way. It's also really nice to have a march outside of Pride season and the march event. Really, really well done. Well done for getting off the ground. Fantastic turnout. It's also really, really lovely having been around and worked with Camilla over probably what is the last 5 years, Camilla. And really lovely to see the energy that you've brought to this, and we'll take it forward to the next 5, I have no doubt, and we'll continue to work really, really closely with that wonderful H3 partnership that we were doing long before they ever thought of it. So it's fantastic. Well done, enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay, hello, I don't like crowds. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Maura because it would not have happened at all without her. Like,
that's very nice, thank you. What else was I going to say? That's really lovely. I'm touched by that, Amy. I'm touched in general. I'd like to introduce you to Roy Perry, who's the leader of Hampshire County Council.
Good evening and welcome to the Winchester Discovery Centre. Libraries are changing, and I think society in general is changing, and this event this evening I think demonstrates to a very large extent those changes that we have. And I want to thank Moira as well. She wrote my speech for me, so if you've got any criticism, not me. But I do particularly want to thank the LGBT group at Hampshire County Council. I know they're doing a lot of work, and I do applaud them for doing that, and certainly insofar as we're able, and as you all know, as Liam Burns said to the last government, there's no money, so we don't have any funds, but we certainly are prepared to give what moral support we can. Hampshire County Council has signed up to the Stonewall Employers Index, and I hoped I was going to read the league tables and find out where we were. And I learned only this evening that there are 245 employers on the index, and we come in at 223. So Moira, you've not been doing your job properly. Neither have I. So that's my pledge. We've definitely got to shunt up that list. And if I come here next year and we're still at 243 or even lower, then you can check me out. I think that's a fairly safe bet. We'd better not be any lower than 243. I certainly personally, let me do assure you all, I take fighting all sorts of discrimination very seriously indeed. I've got 3 little words down here: hin, twin and age. Hin, one of the things I'm most proud of in the role I've had in Hampshire County Council was to establish the interfaith network, to make sure that in Hampshire we're meeting with the various all faith groups, but particularly the minority groups, to make them feel that they're very welcome here in Hampshire. I won't claim that's a great success, but I think we're doing better than 243 out of 245. So we're getting there with our interfaith work. I put down the word twin because I did have a twin brother, and he spent the last year of his life in a wheelchair, and that was a pretty edifying or serious experience, but you really get your eyes opened when you realise the discrimination that people can face. And I remember saying to him, and if anybody hears a twin, you know how close you are, however old you are. And I said, and he said, you know, people really do say, does he take sugar? He was a bloke with a first-class honours degree and all the rest of it, but because he was in a wheelchair, people treated him differently, and that suddenly brings it home to you that discrimination happens. I put down their age. I got a letter from my bank last week, and it said, "Dear Mr. Perry, now you are 70, we no longer intend to insure you for foreign travel." I'm going to take that lot to the age discrimination counsellor, but so you find discrimination all around, and I appreciate that you've experienced discrimination as well. Now, I was going to tell you a Saudi story, but I decided to scrap that because we've got the choir to come along. But I'm going to tell you a little story about my granddaughter. Because one of the advantages of getting old is that you perhaps get grandchildren. And I've got 2 little grandchildren who live in America, but they come over to England every year. And my little granddaughter, and seriously, she was 3 at the time, nearly 4, but she was 3. And we were watching an athletics race on TV, and it was guys racing, I don't know what it was, 400 metres or something. And she said to me, "Grandfather, when will it be the girls racing?" So I said, "They'll be next." And of course they weren't. It was another guys race. Yes. And this little 3-year-old looked at me up and down and she said, "Grandfather," that's what she called me, "Grandfather," she said, "that's not fair." And I thought, if a little 3-year-old could work that one. It made me sit up. You know, I thought, you know, I've been ready all my life probably to watch football matches and think, yeah, well, the men's cricket or the men's football is more important. Of course it isn't. And that little 3-year-old kid, in just a few words, really brought it home to me, that element of discrimination. So I just give you that message that sometimes it can be the small, calm voice, but I do accept occasionally it's got to be the marches and the pushing. So please keep pushing. We want to become a much better equal opportunities employer, and that includes all groups, and certainly including the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender group. So if I come back here next year, boy, any officers around here, we had better be better than 243. So thank you for that.
Some singers to keep us company for the next while or so, is that right?
For a minute or two.
Minute or two. Show us your jazz hands, go on.